Hello, Shardinians. Welcome back to my channel. I'm all things sugar and shade Sade. Hey, and this is where I go into the best bits of Love Island USA season 7. And today I'm talking about episode 34. But before we get into it, please, guys, make sure you like this video. You might as well do it now. Share this with like-minded people, of course. Leave your comments too. Who are you voting for? The final is just around the corner. And also make sure you're subscribed so you never miss a video or a live. Okay, let's get into it. So this episode was Family Day. However, we did kick things off with Chelley and Ace in the Hideaway, having a good old time. They were getting a little bit, intimate and stuff. And then also in the bedroom, of course, Pepe and Iris were at it again, as were Amaya and Bryan too. Getting on. Chris and Huda, not so much activity actually, and definitely nothing from Orlandria and Nic. So in the morning, Ace tells the boys that he had a great time in the Hideaway. However, he didn't fold, which is their code for they didn't go all the way, but apparently he used his hands a lot. And we see a clip of Shelly telling the girls that also they had a great time and just explaining how he asked her to be exclusive. So they are officially exclusive now. So as I said, it's Family Day and I can't lie, it was an emotional one. I knew I would be crying, but I didn't know how many times I would be crying, because just seeing the Islanders just being overcome with emotion, it just, it was a lot. It was a very sweet moment. First that we had Amaya and Bryan, they were kind of instructed to go and sit in front of this screen, and they could see it was a split screen with Bryan's dad and best friend, who's also called Bryan, and on the other side was Amaya's mum and her stepdad. They're having a conversation and the screen goes fuzzy, and then all of those people come behind them and basically surprise them. And it was just such a beautiful moment. Bryan literally was just crying in his dad's arms. Maya obviously was super excited. She's running around, running to her mum and stuff. They did not expect it at all. And it was just nice. Them understanding as well that their family is there to support them and loves them. Literally everybody in the villa is in bits. I think because it was also the first one, Amaya's crying, Bryan's crying. The Islanders get to meet the family members as well, and they all know their names and everything. And it's just such a sweet moment. Amaya's family is super happy that obviously Bryan stood up for Amaya and that he, kind of referenced Latino culture. They're just super happy that she has someone that's looking out for her and looking after her. And you can really see the bond between all of them. It just got really, really real. I don't know, it just made it very, very real. Now, they did have this odd moment where I think it was sponsored by Coffee Mate or something like that, where they had to go over and make a coffee. It was just weird, and they need to not do that. They need to do it in a different way. It just seemed very strange. And Bryan's family, they really like Amaya as well. I think even Bryan got a message on the iPad from his mum as well, which made him break down yet again. Bryan's mum couldn't travel because she had some health issues going on, so she wasn't able to be there. But she said that she really, really likes Amaya, which was just so comforting to hear as well. And was it me, or did Bryan's friend Bryan look a lot like Steph Curry, or is it just me? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, they all take a picture together and it was just very, very lovely, and they leave the villa. Next, it was Iris and Pepe. So on Pepe's side, he had his mum and dad, and on Iris's side, she had her mum and her sister. Now, these guys are much more reserved. There was no running or no dramatics or nothing like that, but you could see they were generally happy. Pepe's family, yep, did like Iris. Pepe was even saying that, obviously she's beautiful, she's got a shit together and stuff, and that also she actually lives near his grandpa, so that's how they're gonna work things out to kind of continue this after the villa. So does that mean TJ and Hannah is a non-factor now? Wow. On Iris's side, her sister said that she was sad to see TJ go, but she's happy that she's with Pepe. He seems to make her happy. And the mum was just like, if you're happy, I'm happy, that kind of vibe. And said, like, Iris seems so calm, like she's growing into her womanhood, essentially. And she's just so gracious with it. She seemed to be in awe of her daughter, which was just like a very cute moment. Now, Chris is stressing the hell out. He is not even sitting next to Huda, which is putting Huda into a right mood. And he basically says that his mum and his sister are quite critical, I guess. I don't know if he meant it in a negative way, but it was just like, well, what do you think they're going to say? I don't know. He knows his family, not us at the end of the day. So he was really, really anxious. And he said if he could have his way, he wouldn't have his family meet Huda because he thought it was too soon, which, to be honest, is insane, right? It's insane. I don't know what people are seeing, but he's clearly giving some very strong signals that he's not in this relationship for the right reasons at all. And I think it's Shelly that's asking him, like, okay, and trying to, Shelly in her voice, she's just trying to, in a way, like, calm him down and try get him to understand, like, it's probably not going to be as bad as you think and everything like that. And you can see Huda sitting there, just, I know in her mind she's absolutely spiraling. So next it was Ace and Shelly's family. So we had Shelly's mum and dad, and then we had Ace's brother and sister, and they were so excited to see their family. They're just absolutely giddy. Ace was getting emotional as well. Like, he couldn't believe it. He really couldn't believe it. Family seemed to get on really, really well. They said that they really liked so that even when they were disagreeing, everything was kept very respectful, and they loved the way that they communicated with each other, which was nice to hear. Shelly's mum says that Ace reminds her of Shelly's dad, so there's some commonalities there. And she also got a letter from her younger sister as well, which she read out, which was very, very sweet, that, her sister misses her. Ace, he obviously was talking to his siblings, and, he did bring up when he got voted in the game, like, least genuine. He said, yeah, that hurts a little bit. They basically were saying, like, we know your heart, we know who you are, so yeah, basically don't worry about it. I think they were giving off that vibe. He says that he sees a future with Shelly as well. And also he did get a video message from his mum, who was basically praying for him and just saying, like, he's been really good on the show, really authentic. She thanks him for being strong and also standing on business, which makes him break down again. So next is Chris. His mum and sister and Huda, her sisters, arrive at the villa, and Chris, when he sees his mum, first of all, he picks up his sister and spins her around, but when he actually hugs his mum, he just turns into a big baby and he just cries in her arms, man. That was just like, I was just like, oh, babe. He needed a hug from his mum. He absolutely needed a hug from his mum. And yeah, I think it really, really like soothed him. So Hood is talking to her sisters. They're exactly the same. They all sound the same as well. The older sister, I think, is the most like her, because she's like, oh, what are some of the things that you've been seeing? And they talk about, like, I'm a mommy. And the sister is like, why did you even say it like that? Like, why didn't you just say I'm a mom? Like, but it's gone viral, so it is what it is. They did tell her as well that she needs to zip it. She needs to stop talking as much. She needs to shut up sometimes as well. They did say about, like, that they're seeing a lot of growth with her, especially after Jeremiah. They said they think Chris is good for her and that type of thing. So, which was nice. This is the part where I was just like, oh, they are extremely limited what they can say. Because in UK Love Island, they're a bit more free-flowing with information or their actual opinions. I think back to last season when Ayor's brother basically said Ayor should be with Mimi, that type of thing. So, like, people were a little bit more bold in the UK, it seems. But these guys were just keeping it very surface, very, very surface. Huda did explain, and I think they agreed, that she moved too fast with Jeremiah and that he brought out her toxic side, and then Chris doesn't do this. But there was no kind of elaboration. There was no kind of like, Huda, you called him out his name. There was no kind of like, you need to apologize to this man. There was no kind of any of that at all. And then she got a message from her daughter, which was so, so sweet. She was talking about like her, I think it was her last day of school, that she misses her mom and she hopes she's having fun. And yeah, Huda just starts breaking down. Like, she misses her every single day. I think it was just a reminder of what she is doing this for, help secure a future for her and her daughter. So then on Chris's side, he was asking, okay, so what are your thoughts? And they were basically, no, you're fine, you're good. Do you know what I mean? Like, even he was confused, was all confused. Like, what do you mean? And they basically said they had no feedback to give him. All I'm thinking is that they probably don't want to mess things up for him, and they don't want to feed into any kind of negativity or something, because they're so close to the final. So they're just being really cautious about what they're going to say. So we kind of came across a little bit fake, honestly, because I don't believe that they think that everything is fine. I just don't believe that. They know the truth. They know what's going on. They know that their son is not happy or their brother is not happy. You know, his mum did try and reassure him and say, you know what, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're doing the things that you were raised to do. I feel like that can give him some peace of mind, that at least what he's doing in his actions is right. He did ask her, like, what do you think about Huda? And again, it was very limited in terms of what she said, but she said something along the lines of that as a woman, they can resonate with some of how she feels about things. I don't think there was anything I said about her actions or the words that she's used, but how she feels about things. And then they also said they can see there's been some growth with her. And they said that Chris actually brings out the best in her. In the confessional, when Huda and Chris went in there afterwards, they were so much more upbeat and they were so much more of a unit together. And it just goes to show, it's just like, obviously it's a reality show, that is a performance. And right then they were performing, but I don't buy it for 1 second. And last but not least, we had Nicolandria's family. So we had Nic's mum and sister, and we had Orlandria's mum, who came by herself. Orlandria and her mum, they get on like a house of fire. She was just like my twin. You can see where she gets her body from, and her face card, like, honestly, her mum is giving. She really is. And yeah, I just like the way that they talk to each other, their banter, their vibe. You could see like Orlandria was completely lit up. And I don't know if we've seen this side to her at all this whole process. So it was nice. It was just so lovely to see. Orlandria was just like quick with it as well. She was just like, what does daddy think? And, you know, mum was just saying, yeah, daddy's proud. She was just like, his body tea is a face card tea. Her mum was like, yes, they are. You got it all on point. Like, Orlandria hasn't disappointed at all. Like, she's been on point the whole time. Her mum did say, though, that, you know, what took you so long, essentially, with Nic, because we could all see it, that it was something that should have happened, like, almost from the beginning. And Orlandria was just like, really? Like, she was not picking it up at all. But, you know, she was just like, that she only kind of realized, or they only kind of been really into each other these last couple of weeks. And she did get a tiny telling off for cussing. And her mum is not too happy about that one. Nic's family, again, super, super supportive. Nic's mum says that that his dad really likes Ace, and Ace walks by. And yeah, Nic is happy about that. They also love Orlandria. They like the way that she carries herself. Nic's mom was not too happy that he was doing things under the sheets with my girl Sierra. Was not too happy about that. Nic has to change the subject. She was just like, Nicholas. And he was just like, Mom, can we change the subject? Moving on. Yeah, you don't want to be talking about that with your mum, do you? But yeah, it seems like they're all getting on. They like Orlandria and Nic together. When Orlandria and Nic were by themselves, they kind of have like a little debrief conversation and just talk about how much their families like them together. I think Orlandria has been invited to dinner already, that type of thing. So that's good. But the way they're sitting, there's just such a space between them, and they do hug, but again, it was just really giving friendship. So I just don't know what the barrier is, but I'm just hoping that they just break it down like immediately. Or it's never gonna work. We've got one more episode to go, so who knows? And I know Sierra is waiting in the background. She's there, apparently, like responding to comments on Instagram and things like that, talking about what will be will be. I know she's gonna try. She's got her pitch ready for Nic. So if Orlandria really wants to be with Nic, I don't know if she absolutely does. I actually don't know if she does, but if she does, then she needs to move a little. I mean, obviously we want her to be comfortable. We do want her to be comfortable. So yeah, I don't even know what advice I'll give to her. But like, if she's scared to show it and she does want to show it, she should. That's what I would say. So in the evening, they decide to do a Friendsgiving dinner. So they actually cook together and sit down together and eat, which is really, really nice. Although Nic and Bryan kind of like, they decide not to do any of the cooking. They're not really interested in cooking and that sort of thing. So they were not in the kitchen. And I think they talk about some of their highs and lows as well. Bryan actually, first of all, did give a speech saying like, you know, like thank you to their families who kind of like stopped their lives to come and support them, which was really sweet. And I think he said some sweet words about Amaya as well. And then they went on to talk about their highs and lows. Amaya said that one of her highs was definitely meeting all the girls and building friendships with them. And one of her lows was definitely miscommunicating with Ace. And then she actually apologizes, like, this girl is just the sweetest. She doesn't really have to at all. But they get up and hug. So I guess that beef is squashed. Personally, I'm not forgiving Ace for how he behaved towards Amaya, but if Amaya wants to forgive him, that is up to her. Now, Huda really wrapped up her low so quickly, and she just talked about, when I crashed out, but it's not really a negative because it's a learning curve for me. And I was just like, this girl, this girl. And her high was recoupling. Then Chris went, he said his high was obviously today, like seeing his mum and his sister, and then also playing basketball with the boys. And if you could see Huda's face, she was not happy. I know he's going to get grief about that later on. If not later on, then tomorrow. Definitely going to get grief about that comment and leaving her out of it. And there were a few more, and then they get a text, and the text lets them know that America has been voting for their favorite couples, and someone's going to get dumped from the island tonight. They weren't expecting it. I don't know why. They should be. They absolutely should be, but they weren't expecting it. So they had like those, I don't even know what you call them. Like, you know, where you have the plate and the silver lid on it to lift it up to reveal the food, but they had envelopes on them instead. Each couple was sat opposite each other, so they had one of those in between each of the couples. So the first couple to go were Bryan and Amaya. They got congratulations. They have been saved. They've made the final. Then we had Chris and Huda. Annoyingly, same thing. They have also made the final. They don't even like each other. What the hell? Oh. Then it was Nic and Orlandria. They made the final as well. So it was between Pepe and Iris and Ace and Shelly to go next. But the next couple was Ace and Shelly, so they had to open their one. And Shelly read it out, and they didn't make it. They didn't make it. And I was so freaking shocked. Like, I was just stunned. I was absolutely stunned. I could not believe it. I thought they were going to make it. I don't know, like, I'm not a massive Ace fan at all. And I do understand, I think, where Shelly has gone wrong in some aspects, but I don't think she's a mean girl or anything like that. I just think that she chose the wrong approach in terms of dealing with Huda, because Huda was just put herself in such victim mode. It helped turn the audience against her, unfortunately. Not really her fault, but we don't live in a world where people see Black women as whole human beings on a day-to-day. So yeah, I think she could have managed that one better, to be honest. But it was just so frustrating and sad. I didn't think she was being serious in the beginning either, which means Pepe and Iris get to the final two. So you mean to tell me, I was just so stunned. Pepe and Iris. Are people okay? No, as I was talking about this on the live the other day, the thing is with Pepe and Iris, you can see that there is a sexual chemistry between them, and they are playing into that. So where they don't necessarily have the romance, because they have that lust there, people can see it's actually real. And I think there's a similar thing with Amaya and Bryan, but also people just love Amaya, like myself as well. Whereas Nic and Orlandria, it's struggle. That's struggle love right there. I just don't know what's going on. But you can't say that Ace and Shelly don't like each other. They clearly like each other. But I feel like maybe Ace done too much manipulating, too much, like just being in other people's businesses. I think like him pushing for Jeremiah to go home, I don't know if he's truly ever recovered from that, to be honest. And maybe we'll see if he cares about that when he comes out, or whether he will take a different approach. But like, he was just way too much in other people's business for my liking. And I think a lot of people felt that way. So they didn't want to vote for him or Shelly, you know? So yeah, their journey ends, and yeah, they are gone from the villa. Obviously, I know Orlandria is cut because that is her girl. That's her ride or die. I know Ace thought he was going to be in the final, no doubt about it. But I think they're just going to be fine, to be honest. Like, sometimes it isn't always about winning. Sometimes the people that do the best from Love Island aren't the actual winners too. So I think they're going to be absolutely fine. One other thing I would say as well that Ace did was he played around with Shelly too much. So when he was supposed to couple up with her, he didn't. And I feel like that is probably one of the biggest mistakes that he made. He took her for a game, he played around, and I just don't think he should have done that. I really think they would have been stronger had he picked her at that time. Unfortunately. Okay, so yeah, so we have our final four. We've got one more episode, the final to go. Who are you voting for? Are you voting for Amaya Bryan, Nicolandria, so Nic and Orlandria? Are you voting for Iris and Pepe, or Chris and Huda? If you're talking about the last two, Iris and Pepe, Chris and Huda, I don't even know if I want to be friends. I don't know. I'm joking. But like, really, let me know who you're voting for in the comments, or if you can't vote, who you would vote for and why, please. Okay, so I'm going to be going live straight after the final episode of US. I will be going live after Sun on Sunday for UK Love Island as well. So I will see you guys then. So let's chat then. This is such a hard one to call. My hope is Amaya and Bryan. I feel like Amaya has been the most authentic person throughout this whole season. I really think she has given it her all. She has got through some tough times, people saying some really, you know, strong things about her, and she's managed to navigate through it, deal with all the challenges, and now she's with someone that she likes and who likes her back as well. And I do think Bryan does like her back. Like, I wasn't too sure before, but I do think, I understand it's early days, but I do think he genuinely likes her too. So yeah, that's it, guys. Make sure you like this video. I might as well do it now. As I said, let me know who you're voting for and why in the comments too. And I will see you on the next one. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and share with a like-minded friend. Okay, guys, see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Bye.